I do think like as I've gotten older, and I don't maybe this is because of Trump. Like as I've gotten older, I've become less enamored with like celebrity in the sense of like to see how much people are like obsessed with Trump, where they like wear the Trump shirt, they wear the Trump fucking hat, they wear like all the merch, and I love merch.
You love merch.
I fucking love merch.
Yeah.
But like, I don't think I could ever feel like that for a politician, like ever. And I'm a person who was like, when I was younger, I was like, oh fucking Obama, I need an Obama shirt. I need like, I'm gonna get the book, like, and I don't think I could ever do that for a politician again.
You're a big Bernie guy.
I was gonna say
I used to
Bernie.
be. Yeah, well,
I feel
no,
like Bernie's
but I
the
was
closest to that kind of cult following.
No. And that was the thing. I think I felt weird when Trump was going on.
Mm-hmm.
When the opposite was the Bernie thing, like it felt uncomfortable how obsessed with Bernie people were, and I love Bernie, but like getting the shirt, getting the fucking hat, getting the bird that looks like Bernie, and like it felt weird, and I don't like. I'm like, these people are just fucking. Everybody who runs for office is a fucking weirdo.
Remember when he was sitting in that chair with his little mittens on?
I know. His legs all crossed.
So, what was that, the inauguration, right? It was just,
It was so cute.
Yeah. He was just so memeable. Like,
Yeah.
like
I know.
all his,
well,
like,
it is.
cuteness.
It is interesting. You mentioned the merch. You know, as we're getting into that political cycle now, and you have Trump. You know, the $300 shoes, the A1s knockoffs, and I think I saw some artist, somebody like on Fox News in an interview was like, oh yeah, because Trump knows culture and is really connecting with the black people, and you're like, just because you got some ugly ass shoes that you're trying to sell to pay your legal bills, but
Yeah, he was literally like, because black people love sneakers, and I was
Yeah.
sitting there like, what?
Did you see the clip of him at like a rally where he said something like, "Oh, you know, the black folks like me because I'm a criminal," or some shit like that?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Yes.
I can't remember what it was, like the Black Republican caucus or something. Like it was like a group, and it was in one of the Carolinas, and there was some like meeting, and that he was trying to relate. It's like, yeah, it's like, oh yeah, because I've been discriminated in the legal systems out to get me, and you're like,
Oh, now he's admitting that.
now you're so persecuted that you got relations to black people, I guess.
Oh, God.
But or now you can get the $60 Bible, complete with the Constitution and the Pledge of Allegiance, to
Which
go with breaking bread and Jesus turning water into wine.
I guarantee you he has not read the entire Constitution.
Yeah, there's no way.
I already know he hasn't
There's
read
no
the
way.
Bible.
There's
No, he's got many Bibles in his home. He has the most
He's
Bibles.
got many Bibles.
he's got the most Bible.
The best Bibles.
Yeah. I mean, that's one aspect of the whole Trump thing that blows my mind. It's like that religious people who are super religious saying that he is like the one to vote for because he aligns with their religious beliefs, even though he's a godless fucking capitalist. I don't know.
But you know, it's the whole, you know, America first, God first, and you know, making America great again from whatever, you know, when was it not great, and when was the again? What period are we going back to?
Yeah, when was it
again?
great ever?
Mhm.
But you know,
So I can think of a lot of things that have happened that aren't so great.
Yeah.
well, it's even interesting seeing just how radical people are around like America first, the pride, the flag, you know, how great the Constitution is. I mean, even if you look, you know, we're having a nice movement in women's sports right now where, you know, LSU versus Iowa, the rematch of the national championship last year, was the most watched sporting event outside, I think, of like the college football playoff, and like outpaced like pro events combined. I think more than all the MLB like World Series combined and things like that. Great game. Iowa ended up winning, and they won again last night. But you know, I think I saw Louisiana governor was going off on the LSU team because I guess part of their warm-up routine, which turns out they haven't, you know, they 12 minutes beforehand, they probably have some team meetings and going through strategy beforehand, but they weren't present for the national anthem. So now the Louisiana governor is like calling for, you know, making it mandatory for the NCAA to have athletes be present and stand for the national anthem and, you know, calling for losing of scholarships if you're not. You're like,
Yeah.
you had this great moment, great game, and like this is what you're worried about. And,
Yeah, this is the takeaway.
I mean, even just how much kind of, you know, there's the LA Times article about LSU, you know, portraying them as kind of the evil, you know, ragtag group versus, you know, Iowa and, you know, kind of almost like the Great White Hope, if you will. And, you know, how classy and cultured they are and the consummate, you know, team of what you should follow. It's kind of crazy to see like that just continue to pile on in like almost every way to try to bring folks down. But yeah, I don't know why. Like same thing with like, you know, the Colin Kaepernick kind of whole saga where, you know, took a knee. It wasn't like he was, you know, running out in the field and doing like he just took a knee, and now all of a sudden that got blown out of proportion. Like
It's crazy too, because this situation they weren't even doing it on purpose.
no,
Yeah.
Like, they
No,
were
it's just
asked
part of
about
their routine.
it was not like they were trying to take a stance on something. They were
No.
not trying to protest in any way. Like they just happened to not be there during that.
It's like, did you guys see all the like outrage about like Easter falling on transgender
Yes.
awareness?
Oh,
but it's just
God.
like Trans Visibility
Yes,
Day,
Oh,
yep.
okay.
and if it's the same day literally every year, and Easter obviously is not, and people just like created this fake outrage around like Easter fucking falling on the same day, and they're
Blame
like
Biden
Biden did
for
this,
it.
and like it was
Yeah.
fucking ridiculous. But I was thinking about like the national anthem and stuff, like all that shit is weird. like
I always thought it was kind of culty.
right. I worked at for a long time, and I didn't really realize it at a school where we didn't do the Pledge of Allegiance, and now I work at a school where we do, and I was like to work at a school for like 11 years where you don't do it, and then to go to a place where you do, and you're like, this is weird.
Yeah.
Like it's really weird. A kid asked me one day, like, because they film it and they just like show it in the morning, like for the morning announcements, and they just like so they have somebody different like every week like film it, and then they show
that's
that.
like an honor thing. Like
Yeah.
someone gets to be the person that leads the school.
And so a kid asked me one day, like, Gomez, do you want to do the? And I was like, no. And I like ran away.
No. I actually saw a TikTok the other day where a teacher was like recording herself like at her desk. You couldn't see the kid.
Yeah.
But the kid asked why they do that every morning. And you could just see her face like buffering. She was just like, I don't know how to answer this question. And she was like, I'm going to figure that out. And then after lunch, I'll let you know what the answer is. She was like, I don't know.
It's like,
She's like,
please
great
let them
question.
forget after lunch.
Great question. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was like, I wonder if she tried to come up with a real answer or if she was just hoping they would forget.
forgot. Yeah.
It's
But I'm pretty sure, like, wasn't that when we were growing up where there was that whole kind of movement to try to take under God out of the Pledge of Allegiance? Or
Oh yeah.
I think that was like, I want to say that was like when we were in like grade school or stuff, where that was the big movement, and because it was discriminatory, and then the separation of church and state. But clearly we've
Yeah.
put the church and state side by side and had a holy matrimony at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When was that, would you say?
I'm gonna say
I
it was
think
like
I'm
early
too
2000s, like maybe.
That's why I don't
Yeah,
remember.
like post 9/11.
I probably don't remember because 2001 I would have been in second grade. That's why I don't
you
remember
were a
that.
baby.
That's a little
I
baby
was like
over
7.
Maybe you blocked it out because I feel like that would
Maybe.
be such an upsetting event
Yeah.
for you specifically. 'cause
true.
yeah, it was upsetting for me. I was like constantly crying thinking about all the
Yeah.
people, and I was like going around school like, why isn't everybody more upset? Like I was
Yeah.
like so, like I felt like I was like
about 9/11.
yeah. I was freshman in high school, I think, and yeah, I just remember like everybody didn't care. Nobody cared. And it was so weird.
That is weird.
It was like being sensitive cancers.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I remember. I think for me it was 6th grade, and then sixth grade. I think there was a class that was in computer class that I guess that discovered it at the time, and then like news quickly spread throughout the school, and then I think they sent us home at one point, or definitely early. It wasn't like at the normal dismissal time, and then like I remember like being in like the living room just like watching the TV, and then I remember, I think my dad was home at the time, and I think my mom ended up coming home too, and we're like watching the TV, but it's the news showing the same thing kind of
Yeah.
Over
and over again. And there wasn't
Yeah.
really anything new, but that's what we were
Yeah.
doing. You were just watching it, seeing if there was any updates or news. And yeah, it was a weird day of like, especially when you're a kid, right? You're like,
Yeah.
I'm not in New York City, so I don't know, like, I didn't know anybody directly like in danger from it, but also, you know, when you see two big buildings and you're just watching that all day, and so much got disrupted for the day, right? Like like your normal routine was just everything went on pause, and now you're just like gotta pay attention to this, so you knew something serious was happening.
Yeah.
It's like when you're talking about the America First thing, I'm thinking now about how like how effectively they used that very, very sad thing to like lie to us about so much shit. Like
so much.
like, let me be clear, Osama bin Laden bad. What he did was terrible.
Let's get that out of the way.
Yeah.
But also like the way that they like sold to us that like, oh, he hates our freedoms, like they did this because we were like they hate America, and like full circle, like one of the big reasons was like our blind support of Israel, and like there was all these like, it was much more complicated. Again, Osama bin Laden bad, 9/11 terrible, but like a lot of the reasons were just so much more complicated than what we were sold. And the way that they were able to collectively be like, no, it's because he hates America, and like made us super like rah and like supportive of everything that happened for like the next however many years, was just like fucking bonkers.
Yeah. And then you have people who take that's already like a dumbed down version and dumb it down even more.
Yeah.
And then it just, I feel like it spins out of control.
Yeah.
And racism was already rampant, and then it just got so much worse
Freedom
because
fries.
of that. And
Because France didn't want to join. They didn't want to be
Freedom
ready
fries,
to roll.
freedom
so
toast.
Freedom fries.